Okay, we're going.
Go
So,
live, go.
in the Maimer Hashamayim Kisi, in a way, you could say the Rebbe is discussing a question: which Aveda are we expected to have? We're expected to have the Aveda of Bittul, or we're expected to have a Reicha Aveda, a rich Aveda with Midas and our Seichel. Right? Which one is better? Which is the Aveda that David wants from us? That we should serve him because he said, and that's it. Or we should serve him because I understand, because I feel. Which one is greater? And the Rebbe says that in the pasuk Hashamayim Kisi, he says that the entire world belongs to the Eibishter. So what kind of rich Aveda could you possibly perform for the Eibishter that's going to be more than he already has? And therefore the pasuk demands that there should be the Aveda of Velzeh Abitel Onyu Nechei Ruach. Dafka the Aveda of a pauper, the Aveda of Bittul. That's the Aveda that's Dafka Mamshech Atzmus. So then he says, so if you have to have the Aveda of Bittul, and the Aveda of Bittul is Mamshech Atzmus, so why does he say that we have to have not a regular Bittul? Because he says like this: when you say that you're going to serve the Eibishter with Bittul, just what do you mean when you say that you're going to have Bittul and serve the Eibishter? And that question is based on another question. When you say that you have a mun in the Eibishter, that you believe in the Eibishter, just what do you mean when you say that you believe in the Eibishter? It says there's two types. There's an amunah shalamata mitam v'das, where a person knows nothing. And because he knows nothing, so he has to say, I'll accept whatever you tell me. Whatever you tell me is going to fly because I know nothing. And that's a lower level of amunah. That's called an amunah shalamata mitam v'das. It's less than understanding. Somebody who understands is in a way ahead of this person. Because this person, you can't have a conversation with him. You can ask him why, what, where, when. He's going to tell you, you have a good point, but I can't answer you, but I have faith. And it's true that he has faith. And he says in the Maimon that this faith, this amunah is in Atzmus. The amunah is in Atzmus. But first, it's an amunah lamata mitam v'das. Then there's an amunah l'mayla mitam v'das. What's the nature of the amunah that's l'mayla mitam v'das? When a person goes and learns for years and years and years about the greatness of the Eibishter, and he understands things. In other words, just like he understands different things about this world and different things in the various chachmas of this world, he understands in the greatness of the Eibishter. And after spending years upon years of understanding in the greatness of the Eibishter, he realizes that as much as he understood, there's more still. And he'll never be able to get the greatness of the Eibishter. And therefore, he has to resort to amunah, to believing in the Eibishter. Because if I'm going to try to understand the Eibishter and serve the Eibishter because I understand the Eibishter, I'm not going to succeed. The Eibishter is far beyond my comprehension. So therefore, what does he say? After he understands a world in a Likos and in the greatness of the Eibishter, he says, you know what? It still didn't even begin to touch the essence of the Eibishter. And therefore, from now on, I'm going to serve the Eibishter with the Munah. And that's already a Munah l'mayla mitam v'das. You talk to this person and you ask him, why do you have faith? Exists? Why is it important to serve the Eibishter? He'll give you answers for everything. He'll give you very good answers for everything. And you'll be convinced, and you'll have to admit that he's right. But then he'll say, but still in all, everything that I told you doesn't scratch the surface, doesn't begin to scratch the surface. The Eibishter is beyond all that, and therefore after understanding that as much as we try to understand, we have to agree to serve the Eibishter. After understanding that, we have to say, now we have to set ourselves aside. And that's a munah l'mayla mitam v'das.
Again, we have to say what?
We have to set ourselves aside. We can't serve the Eibishter because we understand. We have to have a munah. And this amunah breeds a bittul. This amunah compels the person to be bittul to the Eibishter. It's not about what he understands. It's not about what his agenda is. It's about what the Eibishter wants, because the Eibishter is way beyond anything that he could come up with. Now, the Rebbe says that the Eibishter wants dafka that we should have the bittul shalamayla mitam v'das. Why? Because the bittul shalamata mitam v'das, even though it's an atzmus, but it's not megala atzmus. It's not going to be velzeh abit. That to this I will see, I will watch, I'll be able to see that there should be a gilui in the amunah shalamata mitam v'das. There's no gilui of atzmus. The amunah is an atzmus, but You don't see it in the person's Aveda Bichlal. When the person serves the Eibishter with the Munah L'mayla Mitamadas, over there you have Gilui HaAtzmos. And to explain that, he goes through the Seder of an Aveda of a person, which he compares to the 3 years of the 3 stages in the development of the fruit of a tree. In the first 3 years, you have Arla, where you have to stay away from things, from the fruits. In the 4th year, you can eat the fruits, but it has to be only with certain conditions. It has to be halik, and you have to bring it to Yerushalayim. And then in the fifth year, you can eat the fruits of the tree anywhere, the 5th year and forward. So he says this corresponds to the 3 stages in a person's development in his serving the Eibishter. Everybody in the beginning of their journey starts serving the Eibishter as what? As an Oni. And an Oni lamata mitam vadas. Why does he serve the Eibishter? Why does he do what the Eibishter wants? Because his midas of his nefesh elikis, of netzach heid yesod, are meir, they shine. And they bring him to serving the Eibishter and machshava dibur ma'isa. This person, in other words, is having machshava, he's dedicating his machshava to the Eibishter and his dibur to the Eibishter and his actions to the Eibishter. Why? Because the midas of netzach heid yesod of his neshama are active, and they cause, like a chain, like a cause and effect. They bring about that he should be mekayim mitzvahs, learn Torah and daven to the Eibishter. Now, in this level, the person has no chayis in serving the Eibishter, because the midas of netzach heid yesod have nothing of the etzem midas. What's the etzem midas? Ava and yira. There's no ava v'yira over here. The person was not megala any part of the nefesh elikis, of the nefesh elikis' ava and yira to the Eibishter. So he's serving the Eibishter because he must. It's a Kabbalah soil, lamata mitam v'das. It's an amunah lamata mitam v'das. He has to serve the Eibishter, but he has no excitement in it. He has no joy in it. There's no beauty in it. And therefore, what does the person have to do? He constantly finds himself in a situation where he has to hold himself back and push away an Avera. He's constantly tempted by Ra, because he has no chayas in kedusha. He has no chayas in kedusha. So therefore, the Ra is interesting to him. It's 2 opposites of a continuum, if you will. Since there's nothing on the side of kedusha, so he automatically finds himself on the side of Ra, and therefore, what's his avodah to the Eibishter consist of? The whole time he's deiches Ra. Can he bring about gilui likus in the world? Very limited. Because if he starts dealing with the world, he's going to find himself in trouble. He's like the fruits of the years of Arla. You're not allowed to touch them. Don't do anything. Just stay away from anything in this world. You're not allowed to touch it, like the fruits that you're not allowed to eat. Because if you do, you might succumb to the temptation and you might get involved in things not l'shem shamayim. And that's the Aveda of a Yid when he has no chayas, when it's just an amunah lamata mitam v'das. He can't take it further. Then the Yid continues in his journey. That was just in the beginning of his journey. Then he starts to do the Aveda of Listakala, B'yikara de Malka. He learns Chassidus. He understands the greatness of the Eibishter. Slowly but surely, he begins to feel a love to the Eibishter, a pneumistic love to the Eibishter. And this love that he feels like a passion in him. How are you going to ask me? Every single Yid could sing a song immediately. Yeah, thank you Hashem, and I love you Hashem, without any, you don't have to have any preparation. Just start the music, and the Yid dances and sings, and it's a beautiful thing. Like we said, this is the Amunah Lamata Mitam V'das. It touches Atzmus. It touches Atzmus. But what happens to this Yid the second the song stops? Not to talk negative chasron about Yidden, but if somebody thinks about himself and his Aveda where he's holding, he'll find that 1 second he feels, I love Hashem and thank you Hashem, and I'm ready to dance to a beat, proclaiming my simple connection to the Eibishter. And then the next second, he can find himself chas shalom in Taivas. The next second, not only to Taivas Matar, but even Dvarim Asurim. Why? Because it's a makiftika thing. It's not integrated into his being. It's not part of his midas. A passion that he feels towards a sport that he likes, or food that he likes, or some show that he likes. He doesn't have that passion. It's an external thing that's hovering above him. However, when a Yid dedicates himself to learning about the Eibishter and to understand the greatness of the Eibishter, and slowly but surely these ideas become real to him. After years, this takes years of avodah, but slowly but surely these ideas become real to him. Now there's this constant quiet. It's not a song. He's not dancing. He's not jumping. But there's this quiet passion in his heart, a love to the Eibishter that he feels, and the fear of the Eibishter that he feels constantly. And therefore, even when the music stops, he's busy serving the Eibishter. And this is already the avodah of Ashiris. This is already the avodah of a person coming with a beauty to serve the Eibishter. You see him, he's excited about going to daven. He's excited about learning. He's excited about mitzvahs. He's excited that he's a Yid. It fills his life with meaning. However, this avodah to the Eibishter, this wealthy avodah to the Eibishter, like we said from the beginning of the Maimon, has a chesaron that Eze Bayis Asher Tivnuli. It's not going to be Mamshech Atzmus. It's beautiful that you made yourself over. It's a beautiful thing. It's you see a person who transformed himself into more of a spiritual, more of a person who's connected to the Eibishter. It's mamish impressive. But the Eibishter has a job for us. It's not about how impressive this person is. And the Eibishter wants, he wants that there should be bayis, lead, there should be something for my atzmos, and for that you have to have the next level. What's the next level? That the person, the Yid, continues on his journey. Now he understands, now he feels a passion, and he continues, it drives him, he learns more and more and more and more and more until he reaches the max of his abilities. He reached the highest level that he can. And he's full of wanting more, and he wants to get more, but he realizes he can't. The Eibishter is beyond that. He's beyond it. There's nothing to talk about. Then the person puts himself aside. And now it's already a bittul b'mitzias. It's not a bittul of Kabbalah. So his entire mitzias gets set aside. And he praises the Eibishter with tremendous feeling, with tremendous excitement. Because he says that all of the beauty that I was able to work up within myself, all of the emotion, all of the passion, that doesn't compare to the Eibishter. So if all of that passion is something that's very motivating and something that brings about a great excitement, and still that's nothing compared to the greatness of the Eibishter, so now his bittul to the Eibishter is already a beautiful bittul. It's a bittul like in the Eisius of the Maimer, it's a hillel. And I'm sorry, not only a hillel, not l'shem tifatacha, but I forgot the lashon of the Maimer. He has the Daila of Hillel, where he's praising the Eibishter with beauty, but it's Ha'atzmas also. Okay, we'll leave out the lashon of the Maimer for now, for the sake of being able to continue. Okay, so these are the three types of Avedis by a person. And now, in the end of the Maimer, where we're holding down the Maimer in Eis Zion, he's finally going to bring it back. He's going to tie it back to what he said before, that Dafka, when the Yid finds himself in this level, where he has bittul mitzad the hafla of atzmus, he understands how atzmus is beyond any human comprehension, and because of that he has a bittul to the Eibishter. So now let's see what he can accomplish with his aveda. Let's see why dafka this aveda can bring about velzeh abit, that can bring about gili ha'atzmus in the entire world. So let's see. Because the Madrega of Shana Haravis, when a Yid serves the Eibishter in a rich way, with his Naran Chai, with his Keches Pnimim, with his Ava, and with his Yira, since that doesn't connect to Atzmos, so this Yid Taka doesn't have to run away from the Ra. He's allowed to eat the fruits. But there are limitations in what he's allowed to eat and how much Kedusha he can bring into the world. He can only do it in a holy place. His service of the Eibishter can't transform the entire world. He can't make a dira b'tachtein. He can only operate in the sphere, in the realm of Kedusha, because he's limited. He's working with his keches of Naran Chai. He doesn't have the kech of the Atzmus. However, if the Yid can elevate himself, and every Yid does elevate himself in a certain degree, in a certain area, to the Madeg of Shana HaChamishis, so then you could eat the fruit everywhere. Now he's going to explain it. Because the revelation of the fourth year, that's unlimited and immeasurable. And therefore the praise of these Peiris is only in Yerushalayim, in other words, only in places of holiness, in places where you have a revelation of Elikus, because it can't touch Atzmos, and therefore you have to stay away from everything else. However, then the Yid, after serving the Eibishter fully at this level, realizes that there's more, that the Eibishter is even beyond that, that Atzmus is beyond that. So now he comes to the third and final stage, Vahagilu Deshana HaChamishis, the revelation of the fifth year, Kivan Shula Maila Mimedida Vahagvala, since this is connected to Atzmus. Being that it's connected to Atzmus, it's not about his Neran Chai, it's about the infinite and unbounded Kayach of Atzmus. Praising the Eibishter on these fruits, on this produce, he can be everywhere in the world. The Gam, the Perishain Bem Kedusha, not only outside of Yerushalayim, but he can also serve the Eibishter with the regular fruits. The fruits of the Shana HaChamishis have no holiness in them. They're regular matters of mundane, worldly life. And with these, he's mamshich elikus into the world. They are so mundane, they are so part of the world that there's no isser to eat them when they're impure, because there's no holiness in it. So there's no isser on it, and you can eat it, and you can bring kedusha into that place. You can be mamshich, the gili of atzmas over there. So this is what we have from the perspective of the Yid's Aveda, right? Remember we said that the Yid in the beginning of his Aveda, he has to have kabbalas oil and be deichesera. He has to push away the bad because there's no chayas in his Aveda. Then at the next level, when there is a chayas in his Aveda, he can serve the Eibishter, but only in spaces of Kedusha. He can only serve the Eibishter in holiness. To reveal the Eibishter in his weekday life, in his business, with his neighbors, in his time off, in his recreation, in matters of this world, to make a dir v'tachtein, that he can't do. Because he's going with the limited power of his Neran Chai, of his Kedusha. However, when it comes to the Shana HaChamishis, when the Yid reaches the ultimate level, which is a bitul mitzat haflas ha'atzmus, so over there he can serve the Eibishter everywhere. What happens when you serve the Eibishter everywhere? Now you're being mamshech atzmus everywhere. So that's from the perspective of Gili Atzmus, of what do you accomplish by serving the Eibishter everywhere? You reveal that how am I serving the Eibishter in all places of the world, even outside of holiness? I'm serving the Eibishter there only because of Keich HaAtzmus. If so, Keich HaAtzmus is there. And I reveal the Keich HaAtzmus that exists in the entire universe. And that's, in the Lashon of Chassidus, a dir b'tachtein. And that's what we have to do to bring Mashiach. So, through the Yid being able to, and actually serving the Eibishter, even with the fruits, even with things that are not halal. Now he's mamshech already from Atzmus Ein Sof. And since the Hamshach is from Atzmus, therefore it is drawn down even to the lowest places outside of Yerushalayim in weekday Peiros, even in Peiros left to amend them. And now you can have bayis li. Now the Eibishter can have his house in this world, which was the purpose of the entire creation. Now we can have the revelation of Mashiach. The very ultimate low, becomes a dira, a dwelling place for the revelation of the essence of the Eibishter, which we will see with Hashem when Mashiach comes. Now the Rebbe says, this Maimer was a Beis Ear Maimer. So the Rebbe says we can't wait until we get to the final level of Aveda to start connecting, to start accomplishing. Through this, that the Aveda of the Shana Aravis, which the Yid does when he feels an Ava and Yid to the Eibishter, which the Aveda on its own is limited to his Ava v'Yira. However, he doesn't start with it. First, he starts with a simple Kabbalah Zol. He bases it. The foundation of that Aveda of his Ava and Yira is the Aveda of the first 3 years of a simple Kabbalah Zol to the Eibishter. So now, now he can leap and jump, even while he's still in the level of the Aveda of the 4th year when he's serving the Eibishter with his Av and with his Yira. And this is also the reason why the Aveda of the Shana Aravis, which on its own is a limited Aveda, can bring the person to the revelation of the Aveda of the Shana Chamishis, because it's founded on a Kabbalah's oil to Atzmus. ויש לקשה זה עם העיר של בעלי המלאכת תפש צריך להיז מלכתחילה הרבה. We can connect this idea to the idea of the Rebbe Maharash that the Aved has to be mלכתחילה הרבה. Our chassid can't wait and sit still and say, wait until I reach, Aheiche Madrega. You got to get started right away with a simple Kabbalah Sola, simple bittul to the Eibishter, and then in every Aved of Ava V'yira, you already have the meaning of a dilug, of a connection to Atzmas, and you could be Mashach Likus everywhere. The Yiratzin Shaladema Asenu Avedasenu, through our Aveda and through our actions, especially when we go about it in a way of L'chatchila Rebbe, we will merit to hearing the voice of my beloved is skipping over the mountains, jumping, leaping over the valleys. As the Medrash explains that this pasuk is a reference to Melech HaMashiach. Yavev Yigalenu, may he come and redeem us, and lead us standing upright and proud to our holy land, B'Kariv Mamish, immediately now. The Akitzer, the Aveda darf sein mit der Bittul, aber mit der Shena Bittul. A Bittul because the Eibishter is beautiful, not a Bittul because I don't know. Und noch